It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, starting at verse 1, and it reads, Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, when the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, all glory to Call Loyam La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Archa HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land and other nations, which appear like the other nations, but whom subscribe to the truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's your brother Yahushua, coming at you another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. This lesson is in regards to, or inspired, so like I said, in regards to inspired by the Spirit or through the Spirit. Well, the article I just saw looks like it's very well going down, and this devil, they smoothly doing this shit, and this, again, speaking as a man, but at the same time, the Spirit got me feeling like Jack off of Incredibles, just everywhere. Anyway, long story short, yeah, and that's what we would be calling our people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians to come back before these days come. But, also, or before these, because the doors of mercy are about to close. But the thing is, I can see a lot of believers being awakened now. Because the brother used the scripture. I completely forgot about the scripture till the brother put it in the title, or he mentioned it, or he said it in the scripture, or something like that. Or he said it during one of his lessons. But it's a scripture talking about what words can't teach, adversity will. It's a scripture, I think it's in Philippians. It talks about Israel, O Israel, prepare to meet thy power. Or prepare to meet thy God. I believe it's in Philippians. But long story short, yeah, we in them times call Loyam La Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. So I'm going to just read a little bit of this article because this is about to affect every county, all 50 states. Let's go. It says, Cuyahoga County released statement regarding pausing the federal funding. Now, you understand federal funding funds everything. Funds your food stamps, funds your Medicaid, funds pretty much, your Social Security. It says, Cleveland, Ohio, Cuyahoga County Executive Chris Roning and Council President Dale Miller released a joint statement regarding a memo issued Monday by the Federal Office of Management and Budget about a pause on federal funding. We have been in contact with our congressional. So I'm going to start up. It says the memorandum issued from the Federal Office of Management and Budget yesterday declaring a pause on grant, loan, and other financial assistance programs is alarming and has serious implications for our community, businesses, and residents. We do not yet know the extent to which this pause will affect future and current funding for Cuyahoga County. We have been in contact, but the thing is, they got funds for that House Bill 1484 that's going to pay, you citizens, pretty much deputizing the citizens to go after migrants. And you don't think, you regular citizens or people that they deem that they don't like. You know how people abuse all kind of laws and whatnot. You got people that call the police on people loitering when they ain't even loitering. You got people that call the police talking about he looks out of place and he'll be a resident of the community. So this shit is about to call Loyam La Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. We have been in contact with our congressional leaders and federal partners to better understand the implications of this memoranda, and the county administration is reviewing all available information to determine what impact the pause will have on our work. So much of what Cuyahoga County does is supplemented through federal funding. Oh, they sound like they're about to cry. Including health and human services, public safety. So this is going to affect everything because people's salaries get paid out of a lot of these funds. A lot of the funds that's supposed to go to these different programs like the community advocacy for the homeless. I could personally speak on that because I've been homeless in Cleveland. Unlike certain counties and cities across the country, because I was also homeless in Jacksonville. Pretty much, a lot of the funds that's supposed to go to the homeless doesn't. It's organizations that set up to supposed to better the homeless, but you'll have the people that's working in these organizations get the top dibs off of it. And you got individuals that got money. You know, I worked through a program when Jim Tomey played for Cleveland Indians. If everybody remember Jim Tomey, I went through a program when I was going to college, and I did my internship there. And Jim Tomey, I had to do their database, and pretty much Jim Tomey, wife donated like all this fucking money. You know, like it be people that donate shit, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of those donations don't make it to the recipients. That's how greed and corrupt this fucked up ass system is. And just imagine now, because when things get smaller, you know, the portions get smaller to the point where some people ain't gonna get no portion at all. And that's the scary part. That's why it's a beautiful thing if you a real true brother. Because a real brother you ain't gonna worry about is my brother gonna help me eat. You know, niggas gonna be up there side-eyeing and, oh yeah, we together. You know, I used to laugh at that chick, what's her name? Not Remy Ma, but the chick that rap in New York. That's a bulldagger. She hang with nothing but niggas. And I was saying how in that day, yeah, you gonna remember you a woman. Because them same niggas that you thinking gonna slide for you and doing all this rah-rah for you, you a woman. You may portray yourself as a man. You might turn with the right amount of that ride, you know, the perfect ride, you might become a woman again. It's videos on the internet show that. I remember the female that I used to fuck with that basically helped me or has a part of my testimony, she actually witnessed that. She said she was waiting on the bus and it was a female that was, you know, like had them demons on her, and pretty much she had her like, she like did an episode in front of everybody at this busy ass rapping station talking about, I'm doing wrong. You know, the Lord, I don't want the Lord to kill me. I've been messing with girls, you know, and pretty much broke down right there. How often do you see some shit like that? So I was like, she got to be a very special spirit to the Lord for her to do that, or for the Lord to allow her to see that. And then she the one to help me with my testimony. Because if she wasn't helping me, I wouldn't realize, because it was traps and snares. I'm talking about like, it was like it was like some witchcraft going on for real. I'm not about to go into too much depth, but and then when she started saying shit and what she was saying was actually lining up with what I'm literally walking through, I said, what the fuck? And now she in the world. Ain't that something? It was like the Lord switched the roles. Terrified. We have been in contact with our leaders and federal of this memoranda, and the county administration is reviewing all available information to determine what impact the pause will have on our work. So much of what Cuyahoga County does is supplemented through federal funding, including health, human services, public safety, infrastructure, transportation, and environmental initiatives that could all be in jeopardy due to this action. While there is still uncertainty about the full implication of this memorandum, we will not stop providing services or prioritizing the health, safety, and well-being of our residents. That's what they're saying on the surface until these things completely affect the budget. Ain't nobody doing shit for free. You know, that's just like they talk about how, you know, you're going to see how much these so-called policemen are really, you know, you believe they're public servants, but they're not, you know, set up public servants to provide services to the public. They're set up to basically ensure and protect these services and businesses for this, you know, municipality. That's it. That's all. You know, we all seen World War Z, where pretty much he thinking because he just had killed that guy for trying to rape his wife, that police officers would come to arrest him. He start pretty much complying, and the policeman ran right past him. He didn't give a fuck. He going to get stuff for his household, and that's what it's gonna be like. Again, I know it said the federal judge pretty much temporarily suspended it to like the February 3rd. There's a lot happening in February, ain't it? And then March. And they talking about they gonna go to Mars and all this whole shit when we know they haven't been outside the Van Allen belt. So in actuality, Mars represents war. More than likely they about to go back to war. More than likely with Russia. It says these funds are derived from our community's tax dollars. We will continue to fight for them. But at the end of the day, you know, pretty much the states and the counties are subservient to the federal government. You know what I mean? And then a lot of times, pretty much, who they were just talking about, how, wasn't it Marcone that pretty much jumped on the plane and go kiss Trump's ass? I remember when Bush was in office, and when Bush was in office, pretty much, he gave certain states and counties funding, but you had to be compliant with what he had going on, So, pretty much the same thing. So, call law like y'all, but shoot shot. This is what everybody was waiting on. This is what everybody, scriptures talk about. Woe to them that desire the day of the Lord for what end is it for you, But again, yeah, they're exciting times, yeah, and they can seem kind of, they're only frightening because of the unknown. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you do know what's going to happen because it's all prophesied. And again, if you really truly love the Lord, you go. I was telling my sister that, those wacky tacky Christians, they all talk about they love the Lord, they know the Lord, but they don't desire this. But then you really don't understand the scriptures. You really don't know what you involved in when you believe in the power of the Bible, which a Christian doesn't really believe in, the power of the God of the Bible. The God that we serve is contrary to these Christians, you know what I mean? They'll say, the God of the Bible is all love and no hate, but we can come up with scriptures that talk about the Most High God hate. So, not to draw this out, I don't know how Satan did this. Like I said, I thought I got up an hour early. I'm running late. Work got to get done, and we still got to, get our daily bread, like the brother said. Got to get this daily bread. So, bring out a few scriptures, because, immediately I thought of certain things. It's the book of, and I just brought out, because there's multiple scriptures talking about Jacob's trouble. Jake showing you how niggas he is. Jake laughing at, his brother, the northern kingdom, and, that's the Lord too, because the scriptures say the Lord, but he gonna laugh out of the mouth of his servants. Not once did if I have laughed, no, and I've never intentionally laughed, you know what I mean? Because, the scriptures talk about that, I forgot how exactly it's worded. But you know what I mean? Damn, it's right on the tip of my tongue too. About pretty much like gloating over somebody on an enemy that's fallen, or roughly paraphrase. But that's your brother. And you got to take time to think about it. The southern kingdom always gets it worse than the northern. Look at how the Haitians was living, or the Levites. Look at the Benjamites. Look how poor Benjamin is. And then look at and then look at Judah, the so-called black man. The hell he catches in Babylon the Great. So, yeah. What am I about to get? This is book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 14. Just remember, this is the time to really lock in, understand what your power is doing, understand all the different trials and tribulations, the different tests that he put you through, is all to lead you to this point. A time of Jacob's trouble. And we all about to be tried. If you truly believe in the Lord, you don't need this man's system or his benefits. I remember, I'm going to tell you something. When I was homeless, I had a warrant. I didn't receive any public assistance. Another faith booster. I didn't start getting social services until my demon gave me my kids. And that's why I was adamant about certain shit, because I was paying all that shit out of my pocket. And this bitch such a demon, she telling me, oh, they took the food stamps and all that. So one day I go apply, the whole time this bitch getting the money. And never told me nothing. Talk about demons. I say, damn, bitch, I'd have respected it. You didn't even have to give me the whole thing, half of it, and none of that. Or they dealing with no motherfucking nigga like that. 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to fly or flee from these times. I don't know if that's fly or flee. It looked like it say fly from these times. But you know what, that's spiritual, because I was listening to the one brother and he was going into that. He said, you know, we all have fucked up in this truth. You know, but if the Lord dealing, I mean, you know, you got Jake that changing the doctrine, or, you know, changing the breakdowns, like all that, that's when the Lord is taking the spirit away from you. You know, if you still going out on the highways and hedges, as long as you still got the doctrine correct, and then we all fall short. Again, the prime example, when I fuck up, I think of King David. It ain't very many spirits like King David. You know, King David was a man after the Most High's heart. But one thing, and a Christian told me this, showed me this, because when I was in the workhouse, I used to go to the workhouse constantly dealing with this bitch. I should have knew. I should have knew she was. But you know, we be in our little mortal flesh. The Lord wouldn't just take my family. No, that's, you know what I mean? Opposite everything you learn in the world, and you come into this truth, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny to a degree. But I used to go to the workhouse, and the only thing that helped me really, like, because I wasn't in the camp at the time, you know, but I would be coming down there to hear the brothers speak, and, you know, long story short, I don't think I was, I wasn't in the camp at the time. But I would be coming to hear the brothers speak, and it would be, you know, you would have people volunteer to come down there and bring the book. Bring books or basically teach classes on the scriptures. And I'll never forget, it was a guy that was he would come down there. I don't know if he's a pastor or not, but his name was Abraham. And I'll never forget. And he gave me this book. And I got a commentary by John. I got a commentary on Matthew chapter 4. Big ass book. He just gave it to me. You know, and you know, I never got a chance to read the full thing because we always so busy in this truth. And you know, that's how I know it's a lot of spirits be messing with me, because I used to be I enjoyed reading. Now it's difficult for me to read. That's spirits, you know. Brothers say they go through that from time to time when they read the scriptures. That's why you got to constantly pray. You know, I was having trouble reading the scriptures just recently. If you got an audio Bible, back when I was in the camp, one thing me and the young brother used to do, and I looked forward to them every it'd be Sunday, but maybe we should have did it on a different day, because you know, young brothers going out and shit, you know, and every time they would I get there, we set it for 11, but they had went out that night before, and I start getting offended because I'm like, well shit, I'm dealing with a whole family on top of, we got my study that same day, you know, I'm trying to be the big brother and do this with y'all, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to be the one to say no. You know, you don't know what Jake is low in the spirit. But it was more so they was more into folly. I'm like, well, no, I can't worry about what the fuck y'all got going on, because again, that folly could come, you know what I mean? Like, or we could push it back or whatever. But the spirit had it where it could have pretty much, the spirit had it where, you know, it broke up. You know, ultimately, if it's not of the Lord, it's not going to come to pass. You know, it's not going to pan out, you know. What Gamaliel say in the book of Acts? He said, if this is the Lord, you ain't gonna be able to stop it though. And this truth, what brothers doing, this great work, this is of the Lord. Yahweh Shem Yahshua. You know, the demons, the devils, they try to say what those Freemasons and what this NWO, what they're trying to accomplish is the great work. But no, the great work is the work that we're doing, the men of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. This is the great work. We chatting down a fucking demonic, wicked-ass kingdom. Verse 15, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to fly from these times. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. And, you know, that's for all those individuals that talk about it's not going to be a time of Jacob's trouble. This is going to be the worst time in history. And take the time to think about what I'm bringing out. They about to cut all these programs at a time where everybody fucked up. How is not going to be a time of Jacob's trouble when a lot of Jacobs or a lot of Jakes is on these programs? Going to Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, and it reads, Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. The decree is like a law, you know. So who has the power to write and shape and put in place these laws? These red Hebrew Edomites, the so-called white man. And like I said again, this executive order is like a law that's going to affect all the land, and it's going to especially affect you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. You know, I was watching a video that the brother put up, and it was a Edomite he appeared to be an Edomite interviewing this Edomite-looking woman, and he asked her what did she think about the migrant situation, and you know how DJ Trump is going about it. And she said she didn't agree with it, and they need to come up with a better plan. She said at the end of the day, she said she got like I think 3 acres or 30 acres. So whatever the fuck she said, she had a lot of land. She was like off grid. She got acres off grid, and she feels safer that way. You got a lot of these Edomite saying shit like that because they see what's about to come down the pipe, you know. So again, you got Esau that pretty much is not going to be in the same predicament as Jake. You know, they got movies like Red Dawn. That was Esau fighting against Esau. Well, I think Red Dawn was Esau fighting against the Russian Edomite, you know. The newer, they remade it, and I think they was Esau fighting against Moab. But ultimately, it's going to apply, you know, 2nd Ezra chapter 15. You know, they shall not regard their kings and princes. Verse 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. Who will be their prey? So-called, I mean, you know, the widows of Jacob and Israel. You know, the fatherless, you know, the needy. We're the needy. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear of rule, the people mourn. So, you know, again, the elders is in the spirit talking about Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 4, the cruel Lord, because this man is about to bring a lot of mourning to the earth. And know when I seen that, when brothers was talking about making videos laughing at the fact you had all these Babylonians crying about him being elected or selected rather, and you know they was making all the memes and people was crying and all that, and Jake was laughing, and you know it was kind of funny to a degree, but I never really laughed because I didn't look at it like that. I'm like, damn, spiritually everybody just crying. And then I've seen the article about I forgot where I got the information. No, where I got it from. I got it from my job. It was an Edomite looking dude. He was like, yeah, dude killed himself and his whole family. And I'm like, what? And I went to look it up, and the guy killed his whole family and himself because Trump got elected. So I'm like, damn, just spiritually all kind of shit turned it up based on him just winning. And as long as I've been alive, I've never heard no shit like this. So yeah, I knew he was the cruel Lord did. Skip it down to verse 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. You know, if you are of the elect, or if you are of that remnant, you know, it's a scripture talk about, you know, in the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, I think it's chapter 25. It says, you know, 7 things to be counted as joy, I think. It said, basically raising your kids, you know, seeing your kids being raised and the fall of your enemy. And I don't take pleasure in raising my kids on this side, you know. To a degree, having children on this side is a hindrance. That's why it talks about woe to them that get sucked in that day. You know, I remember a brother told me that, you know, when I first was coming around the camp, and he was talking about, you know, and I kept on going to jail trying to be around my children. And Jake was up there like, you know, you're going to have to learn to let that go, because he was like, you don't know who they are. And that's easier said than done, but you've had men have to sacrifice that. You know, I heard about the one elder, and I already had respect for him, but then it gave me a newfound respect for him. You know, one day he opened up about it. He was like, he got like 5 kids he had to walk away from, and I'm like, God damn. So yeah, we've all sacrificed. No man's sacrifice is greater than the other. I'm sure some men have experienced a lot more different sacrifices and went through a lot more and had a lot more different experiences. But I've never just counted a person out like, you can't teach me shit. But Jake have. Not bringing that shit up again, but I'm just saying. And that's why that could be to your detriment. You know, you could be out in the wilderness and the Lord use a child to show you the way to some safety and some shit. You know what I mean? Again, this thing about to get super real. Call lawyer like y'all, but shoot me out shot, because I'm, you know, tired of watching the wicked reign, and I'm ready to see my Lord move through. I mean, we seen him move through the earth, but wait till we really see him move through the earth. You know, when you see, I mean, you already can see when the spirit on a man or a brother. Just imagine when you really see that power on a brother now. I'm probably gonna be a bit late. This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 1, I'm gonna end at verse 3, and it reads, 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Verse 2, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, so cometh as a thief in the night. And those executive orders pretty much came as a thief in the night. Nobody was expecting, you know, I knew it was some bullshit in the game, you know, because that's how the devil operate. But look at that. That's satanic right there. All because Salakia. I gotta reread it in another. Says for Salaki, verse 2 again, it says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua so comes as a thief in the night. And again, nobody knew that this devil was going to do what he did, you know. Now I knew it was going to be some bullshit because, you know, that's how the devil operate, you know. So, you know, and then they only showed you like and spoke on like 60 of the executive orders. But it talked about how he signed like 200 of them. So now all of a sudden, I mean, he ain't even been in the office for 2 weeks, and they moving fast with this shit. You know, typically it take time for, you know, for a decree to get put into effect. But with this, the first day, and like he said, so just imagine 6 months from now. Verse 3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. So these Americans talk about America about to be made great again. Well, no, what you don't understand is they expect even you so-called Edomites to bow down to this NWO and that Haragma. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. No, if you're not written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you're not going to escape. You know, if you're not of the elect, you shall not escape what's about to come. This is about to clear the path of the 2/3 and all these niggas that was bullshitting and faking, you know, all these ninjas. I'm going to just call it for what it is, a nigga. You know, I may be rude in speech, but not in knowledge, you know what I mean? And anything I got was given to me from the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know, so, you know, with that being said, you know, this is time to lock in, to flame on. You know, don't let your candle burn out. You know, and enjoy the ride. Like the elder said, time to pop the popcorn and sit back and watch. And with that, I want to give If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo-Hebrew is Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim La Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Until next time, Lord, willingly, shalom, shalom, kwam yasharallah, wa wath lababah.